Talk Radio. You're in to all things music.
I will follow my path. I will do my music, even if it's hip or not. Sometimes it was hip, sometimes not. Now it's hipper again because youngsters they find me on YouTube, whatever, and they say, "Hey,
right.
This is really cool," and we didn't know you, whatever. I didn't care, actually. If I'm really honest, I really never cared.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, good morning. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by NuNote Radio Network. You're into all things music. The song you just heard at the top is a song that was kind of very much a soundtrack to my wife and my lives. We spent a lot of time in Palm Springs, Southern California. And when I would hear that song, it seemed that we were always cruising down Palm Canyon Drive, looking to the right, and these beautiful purple mountains. And then you would hear the quintessential soprano saxophone that came in past the bridge on that song, a song called Captain of Her Heart, by in-studio guest, who made that song famous with his brothers in a group called Double. But right now we're going to talk about everything that's got to do with Mr. Maloo. And so with that said, I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove, Mr. Kurt Maloo. Kurt, welcome to Jackie's Groove, my friend.
Hi, Jackie. Glad to be on the show.
Man, you know what? I got to tell you, just like I said, I'll repeat myself, but that song, there's certain songs in life, Kurt, that, really bring back memories and so on. And when I hear that song, and actually I did a show years ago, and we had on the bill a group called Tears for Fears, and also a group called Wang Chung, and a group called Wang Chung. And and that was definitely, there was a huge concert. I don't know who it was promoted by, about in the Palm Desert area. Unfortunately, the show never happened. We had a huge windstorm, so they had to close it down because it blew the canopy off this huge stage. And that song, Captain of Her Heart, was playing throughout the stadium, and so there's that correlation.
Oh, great.
There. So
that's a good story.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good story all the way around. But to get a chance to hang out and play in front of 15,000 people out in the desert in 120 degrees, I don't know. Maybe it was a godsend.
Oh, great! I didn't know I was playing there.
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
But hey, you know what? It is what it is, man. And that song was made popular back in 86, 87. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, 86. Yeah, and I think it fitted California actually at the best. I think this was the perfect environment for this song.
And what was the genesis of that tune, Kurt? What prompted you guys to sit down and pen that tune?
Well, actually, Felix, the piano player, and my partner in Double, he always he transmitted the story that he was playing his piano at with an open window, and there was a blackbird singing on a tree, and he went like da-dee, 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 which is the typical cry of the blackbird, and then he was sort of improvising over these two notes. If it's true, I don't know, but he liked the story, and that was the official story of how the melody was developed. And I wrote the lyrics within no time, like a ghostwriter, and the song was done actually within 1 hour or so. It was crazy.
Isn't that amazing when you hear great stories and anecdotes from different artists about some of the biggest hits that were written in musical history are written in such a short time? It's pretty amazing. So thanks for sharing that with us. I was going to ask that question, and that's one less thing I have to ask you. So it was a quick turnaround.
There's a very bad connection. You're clustering. I didn't hear it.
Am I clearer now?
Yeah, now you're clear.
And I want to tell the listeners out there, I'm talking to Kurt right now I'm Southern California, my studio, and I'm talking to him in the beautiful UK. Correct me. Are you in United?
No. I'm in Hamburg, Germany, in the north.
Okay, perfect. Well, there you go.
Even further away. That's why the connection sucks.
We're going to do our best itself, and Paul's going to do his best to keep us online here. Let's talk about the time that this little bundle of joy named Kurt Maloo came into this world on April 16th, 1953, parents of Arnold and Babette Meyer. Pick it up from there, my friend.
That's true, yeah. My father grew up in France, and my mother is Swiss, and I was born in Zurich, very beautiful town with a lake, and I was there until I was almost 33, and with the success of The Captain of Her Heart, I moved to Paris, the city of my dreams. Finally made it true, and that's where I met my wife, and now I'm a family man with 2 grown-up children. That's very briefly my life.
And your beautiful wife name is, I'm saying this correctly, Anja?
Anya.
Okay, perfect. I want to make sure I was right on that, too. Mm-hmm. So, Kurt, let me ask you this question. In the household of the Meyer family, I was walking down the street, and I heard music coming out of that home. What was the inspiration? What was Mom and Dad listening to? What were you forced to listen to growing up?
Well, my mother was very musical. She played the mandolin, and she came from a family where they did house concerts because, her parents... this was almost a time of no radio, so they went from house to house, and they were playing with a guitar and 2 mandolins. There were 2 sisters, and she was singing and she was dancing. So I was brought up because I was the only child. I was together with her all the time. So she took me and she danced with me in the kitchen, and she was playing with me. And then I got my first guitar, so we were playing together. So this was the influence, my mother. My father was completely unmusical. He couldn't sing. He had all the qualities, but my mother was the musical influence.
Now, if I may ask, is Mom and Dad still with us?
No. They died very early. But one great story is that my mom, because now that I'm looking back, I realized that my mom was dancing with me in the kitchen when I was very little to Herb Albert, like
really?
Rise and Spanish Fly and whatever. And
of course, I mean,
years ago in 1987, we were recording with Herb Albert Devil's Ball, one of the songs from Double, and I would have wished that my mother would have got that. She would have been very proud of me.
And you just brought up a nice photo there. Do you remember the album cover was a girl, a beautiful woman, and she was actually draped in whipped cream? Remember that? I'll just never forget that as a young man. Yeah, a young man growing up. That was the sexiest thing that was in our album collection. But it's funny that you can draw that picture. It was Mom and Dad. You said Mom and Dad left us early. My dad died when I was 8 years old, so he never got a chance to see his son's success in the music industry. Mom did. Did Mom? Did they see the success of Double and Kurt Maloo?
No, but at least my father was able to witness my like minor success with the trio I had before that was called Ping Pong, and we were touring. We were playing the jazz festival in Montreux. We were on TV, so at least he knew that I was on the right track, because it was always like, when you say you're going to be an artist, you're going to be a musician, it's not so easy for the parents to accept. At least in Switzerland at the time.
No, I think it's that way international. Everybody wants the best thing for their children. They want to make sure there's something to fall back onto. They want the kids to stay away from drugs. Unfortunately, drugs are more prominent in white collar than it is in music, guys, and that has been proven. So I'm not sitting on my own soapbox here. So stop with the cliches, everybody out there, that music goes hand in hand with drugs. It's not true. And also too. So let's step back for a second here. You just mentioned ping pong, but let's mention the group before that, which was called Troppo. Am I correctly in saying that correct?
Troppo. Yeah, troppo is an Italian word and it means too much. And it was too much because it was a fusion of punk and funk. We were listening at the New York Dolls at the time. We were like pre-punk already. It was in 1976. And we were 9 people, at least as we started. And then we got less and less and less until we were only a trio. But it was a wild thing. We were actually making the music that we were listening to at the time. We were listening to some very different kind of things like Miles Davis, Funkadelic Parliament, and on the other hand of the New York Dolls, and also the first like the Stranglers and all. It was a wild mixture, and we tried to make a fusion of it, and it was good.
Hey, Kurt, let me ask this question: Was your voice your first instrument, or was there an actual instrument that you picked up before that?
The guitar. I was starting to play the guitar when I was 11. This is my genuine instrument. And I'm a guitar player, actually. Then I became a singer because nobody wanted to sing in the bands where I was playing when I was like a youngster. So I said, okay, I sing. But my voice changed. When you hear me with Troppo, it's quite hysterical and like it was at the time, very loud and pressing. The smooth thing that you now say this is Kurt Maloo. This kind of voice actually grew when I was with Felix alone, just double, and there I got more quiet. I was over 30 already, so my voice went smoother, more relaxed, and that's what it is now.
And that's a good thing, because I want to ask you this question. A lot of great singers out there that were put up front. Case in point, George Benson. George Benson, I've talked to him many a times, and George hated his voice.
Hero.
He was always the quintessential guitarist. And then someone said, "Why aren't you singing?" And
absolutely.
That was a good question.
And he has such a great voice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, typical. Yeah.
We have a little delay. I'm sorry. So when did Kurt realize the fact that you were comfortable in your own shoes and your voice had a vibe that was radio worthy?
Sorry, I lost you again. Can you repeat?
I said, how long did it take for Kurt Maloo to get comfortable in his own shoes with his voice, and that you felt comfortable enough to know that your voice could be potentially radio worthy? Was that a right away situation?
No, it started with ping pong, mainly the ballads in the album From Exile. That I just realized I felt much more comfortable singing like that. So it wasn't the up tempo tunes, and then with double, the first 2 maxis. The first maxi was still completely different, but then the second was Woman of the World and Rangoon Moon, and then Woman of the World, and both were smooth, funky, but like groovy. And there I realized this is me. This is actually what is me. Yeah, and then I felt comfortable, and I never left the attitude, let's say it like that.
Let me ask you this question. You do have 2 children that are grown, you said. What are their ages at this point?
My daughter is 25 and my son is 23.
Okay, so let's backtrack for a second. Now, we're back in 86. We're going to be, that's before their journey into this world and so on. But as they saw Dad, not just with the success of Captain, but did they understand, or did they get what Dad was doing, or was you just Dad?
Well, at the time, it was in the 90s when they were born,
right?
And it was, and I'm very slow. In working, I always was very slow. So was Felix, my partner. So it took 5 years between one album, and so they grew up and saw me being at home. I mean, I was composing, but I was at home, so I was available all the time. They thought, oh, Dad is just that he doesn't work. He's like just he's always there. And then I went to the studio, and then was away for a long time, so they didn't get that. Why is Dad away now? But for them, they never, because all the dads from their friends in school, they were completely different. They had 9-to-5 jobs. Right. They went out in the morning, came back in the evening, and me, I was always there. It took a long time till they realized that this is work too. That most or 90% of the work as a composer is in your head, and you don't see it. You don't have to do something with your hands, or you don't have to move. You can just sit and ponder. But now both are creative. They're designers, and now they understand.
And let me ask you this question also. With regards to Captain Kirk, I'm not talking. Can I come across like almost Kirk, like Captain Kirk? Yes. With regards to the success of Captain of Her Heart, how to this date, how many units that song sell?
Not really, but I mean a few millions, and and I mean like over 300 compilations. It was on over 300 compilations, and the main thing is not what he sold. He sold more than enough, but the main thing is that he's still on. They still play this song on the radio 30 years ago. It is 30 years ago, 31 years ago, actually, to be precise. And that's the great thing. I mean, so many people had a hit, but it was a short thing. But this one, it's really lasting, and that's just a very, very lucky streak for me.
I think luck is a good situation. I think deserving is a better word for that. And we come back and can you believe it? There's that light flashing already, Kurt. We're already out of one segment. You see how fast it goes here on Jackie's Groove. Yeah. But I do want to talk to that, since you and I are both in the same age area. I do want to talk about the situation because we do have a great demographic of younger listeners, also great musicians out there, great writers, and I want you as a writer. I want you to talk about the importance to the listeners and the fans worldwide of a magical word called publishing. And and it's we'll talk about my associates that I'm sure are your friends of yours also, that have made a very, very comfortable living because they weren't stupid to give away their music. And we're going to try to educate the people out there itself. And maybe you were stupid. I know I've done some crazy things in my life also that I look back, but you know what? You can't unring a bell. So we deal with what we got to deal with. So with that said, Kurt, don't go anywhere, brother. We'll be getting out of segment number 1, going into segment number 2. This is Jackie Bertoni. Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music with my in-studio guest, Captain of my heart, her heart, Mr. Kurt Maloo. Kurt, don't go anywhere, my friend. Just pick it up on the next segment. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the short messages.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Setting everyone so on fire, out of reach and out of touch, for the street that loves her so much. But she's promised to Mr. Right tons and tons of love to give away, loads of massive sympathy on hold. But she's saving all her love.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 2. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by NuNote Radio Network. Hey guys, you know what? If you can't listen to our amazing shows live, my show's 12 p.m. PST Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, do yourself a favor, and please do us a favor and the network, and go on to Google Play or go onto iTunes and download our easy-to-use and navigate application. 2 words called, the first one, Intertalk, second one, Radio, and take Jackie's Groove and the plethora of shows we produce and we broadcast with you on the go when you can't listen to us live. So it's called streaming, my friends, and it's free. So take advantage of that situation. And speaking of a great situation, let's talk about my in-studio guest today, all the way from Hamburg, Germany right now. A big fan myself personally, but Captain of Her Heart. We're going to go on and talk more about the song that we just came out the top of the set with. So everybody, welcome back at 7:22 in Hamburg, Germany. Mr. Kurt Maloo.
Yeah,
Kurt, welcome back, my brother.
And I just heard that little clip you were playing. The song is called Day of the Man with a Heart of Gold. And it's very funny because today on YouTube, it got the video got 100,000 plays. And my daughter is performing in this video. She's so beautiful, and I was so proud of her. So it fitted the clip you were playing.
Beautiful, beautiful. There's a reason for it all the way around. And, you know, when we left on the last segment, Kurt, we talked about publishing, and I kind of wanted to throw my little 2 bits in there. I have a couple friends of mine that I'll rename. I will go nameless, but were considered the quintessential one-hit wonders. But the fact is, people have to understand that out there, the one-hit wonders aren't people that basically won the lottery and they just spent their money. A lot of 2 of my friends who are very, very, very wealthy because they were a one-hit wonder. And, but again, it's like pulling the handle on a slot machine. You're either going to waste money on it and keep spinning those wheels, or you're going to hit the jackpot. And so the fact of the matter is out there, people have to understand when you own that music, that's where you earn everything. The record companies don't own you. You get the majority of it. Now, with that said, Kurt, how did things differ back in 86 and 87? Because when we left, you talked about the fact that song, Captain of Her Heart, still has legs. 31 years later. Of course it does. It's a great song. But what has changed back there in the way of earning royalties, not being screwed by the record executives and so on, and keeping your eye on the, eye on the tiger, as they say, to make sure that you're getting your just due for everything that you wrote? Go ahead and talk to us about that.
Well, we were very lucky that our manager was also our publisher, and he was he decided to do this project double together with Felix and me, just on our own. And we were like producing the album Blue with our own money, and therefore the album, we just licensed the album to Universal at the time, and after 10 years it came back to us. And now we own the music, and also the good thing is that Felix and I are the composers and authors of all the songs. So all the rights are back with us.
Good
but
for you.
This was not usual at the time. Usually, usually the record company owned at least the master tapes, the digital rights worldwide for forever, and you won't get it back at all.
And let me ask you this question too. Again, going back, you and I being that same age area, does Kurt still enjoy walking into a studio, into a booth, vocal booth, or are you a home studio guy like I am with Pro Tools or Logic? Oh
yeah, I'm a home studio guy. Definitely, I swore to myself I will never walk into that vocal booth anymore. Never sing in a studio. I feel never felt comfortable there. At least, let's say, I learned that when I sing in my bedroom, it's much more personal and comfortable, and relaxed than when I'm there, and I know that it's like the meter is running, and this is stupid, and then you have the take of your life. Right. And the guy behind the desk says, "Oh, okay, this was just a rehearsal, and now we start." Cool.
Yeah, yes. Because when my wife and I built our home out here in the wine country, out in Southern California, one of the rooms, which was supposed to be a bedroom, I had the contractors leave the doors open so it would be an open area, and that's when I started delving into my own studio. And I got to tell you, it was at first wasn't welcomed by the labels as a welcome situation. They finally got wise after 5 years as Pro Tools and Logic got stronger. And then they realized the fact that they're getting the same sound out of Jackie in my home studio as of walking into a major studio. And somebody asked me not too long ago, I did a session about a year and a half ago at a great studio, Studio One here in San Diego, California. And I walked into the studio. It was a very cool thing, Kurt. They got all the, No Doubts, triple platinum, diamond platinum albums on the wall and so on. It's kind of a cool vibe to walk in there, and especially all the stuff that I've done at Western Audio or Ocean Way or Warner's or Capitol. But you know what? Someone had asked me, the producer said, "Do you miss this?" And I said, "You know what? No, I don't. The first 10 minutes was kind of cool, but there's something to be said about walking into your studio, down the hallway in your home, going on there, not having to have people with their noses up your butt. In fact, the matter is I'm making more money now as a session player because the labels are apt to pay more because they're not hiring a studio, they're not hiring an engineer and such. But I do miss one thing, Kurt. I do miss that sound of the Ampex reel being rewound. That, that 2-inch reel.
No, of course,
There was just something about that sound, and but the industry right now, like you said, you're recording in your bedroom. Lionel Richie just did an album recently with all the country stars, and he recorded with Endless Love with Shania Twain. And they recorded that in his beautiful home in Barbados in his bedroom because it's a place where he feels most comfortable. And that's great.
That's the main thing. That's absolutely the main thing. I mean, my last 2 albums I recorded at home, and I spent the money on mastering. I went to Metropolis Studios in London. They are really the best. And I thought, let's for the last 5 seconds of till it's perfect, you spend the money that you would normally spend, in a studio where you don't feel comfortable, where you've been served bad coffee and there's and all the people are not motivated. At least, I experienced that. There were better exceptions. There were exceptions, of course, but normally I'm fine with recording at home. Absolutely, I can only recommend.
Perfect. And let me just step back for a second here. Let's go back behind Tropo. Let's go behind Ping Pong. Let's go definitely well behind on Double. In making your way through the club scene, if you will, in the areas that you grew up with. When we were making barely any money, then it's the same situation. Fast forward to 2017, a lot of guys still aren't making money in local clubs. It's just too hard. I don't know how it is in Europe, but out here in Southern California and Northern California, clubs are dropping like flies. It's a sad situation. That's why we have to keep, you and me, we have to keep promoting the fact that we got to keep local music happy, local music alive, and live music going. And I always say this to the listeners out there, 3 words, guys: stop stealing music. You know, Kurt and Jackie aren't doing this for their health. We're doing this to keep a roof over our heads and take care of our families. You know, I don't walk into your office and piss on your desk, you know, what you're doing. So don't do that. Yeah, don't do that back to us. But, you know, I want to talk about the situation where we know where we're at, because it's pretty, excuse my French, fucking cool what you do and I do, Kurt, you know, and we get paid for it. But my question to you, if you so choose to answer it, how did you, Kurt Maloo, handle fame when Captain was out there and every radio station worldwide was playing this tune? How did you keep your head level, or moreover, did you think your shit didn't stink? Did you handle success? Are you handling it still well now?
Well, I had to leave my hometown, I have to confess, because there was so much greed and so much envy. And I don't know, it always was, I mean, I was in the situation to say, okay, now I'll leave to Paris, where I always wanted to live. But it was a good decision, because when you grew up in a local scene as a musician, and then you like really take off, the others, they don't really appreciate that. You have to be one of them. And I wasn't one of them anymore. I mean, I was, but they didn't see me like that anymore. So I left. And,
you know,
sorry?
I'm sorry, I'm jumping in here because there's a little delay, but isn't it kind of shitty, the fact of the matter is, when you haven't changed and I haven't changed, but people want to put us up on a pedestal. They want to put us on a pedestal, but as soon as they get us up on that pedestal, they want to knock us off that pedestal. You know,
absolutely,
And I learned from my mom.
I didn't understand it either, but I could handle it because I was always used to be alone, because I'm an only child and I did my thing. The music we did was always like sort of off the track. It was never like chart oriented. It was like, right. You know, no one knew that this Captain of Our Heart is going to be a huge hit. They even didn't want to release it as a single at the record company, because they said ballads don't sell, ballads won't be played on the radio. And what did you mean with the middle part? There is no vocals. What is this? There's nothing happening. And we said, I mean, we could tell you the story. It was actually meant to be the second verse, but I didn't get a second verse because I was telling everything in the first verse, so there wasn't any use to sing a second verse. So we left it alone. But this middle part is the mood part. It's the most important part actually in the song, where you really, really calm down and this is what the people appreciated about the song, among other things. And they don't understand anything anyway. So you have to do your thing, and you have to, you have to follow your path. That's what I can recommend.
Hey, Kurt, and also too, give a shout out. Who played soprano sax on Captain?
Christian Ostermeyer, a friend of us. He was a great saxophone player. Unfortunately. Yeah, absolutely great. He can't play anymore because he has an ear problem, and now he plays the piano, which is a pity.
Well, you know, it's just that part of the song, but you know, with the keyboard alone, you know, dang, dang, gung, gang, gung, gang. I mean, that was the hit, but when that sax part comes in, man, I got that warm feeling, because you know, it's just that all my years of working with Kenny G, you know, and being you know surrounded by his soprano. That was pretty amazing, you know. And I want to step back for a second, talking about publishing and owning music and so on. A group that I work with for years and did all their hits, a group called Wilson Phillips. You know, the daughters of Brian Wilson and John.
Yeah, sure.
And excuse me. And so I just got a call from Carney last week, and she said, "Hey, guess what? We're going to go back in the studio and we're going to record our 3 biggest hits: Hold On, You Won't See Me Cry, and Impulsive." And I quote her, she goes, "We're going to do this because we own the fucking music. We're not going to give our profits back to the labels anymore." And
so they're re-recorded.
They're re-recording their songs. And she goes, "Do you want to play on them again?" I said, "Well, what's your next stupid question?" Of course I would. If I played on the first ones, I'm going to play on the last ones also. But it's that situation where when you get to a certain level, sometimes it feels kind of good to stick it in the ass of the record labels every once in a while, especially for all the stuff they did to us through that. You know, and you and I are different. I was never And I was always the hired grunt. I was never the front man. I always was the musician that worked with all the Kurt Maloos and all the, the Brian Wilsons out there and so on. But I wanted to ask you this question. When you starting up in your humble beginnings and playing in a club, and if you probably had more band members on stage than you had in the audience listening to you.
Yeah, that's true.
And we've all had that. So let's talk about those humble beginnings, and let's go all the way forward. Let's get that needle scratch on the album. And tell me and my listeners, who was the biggest audience that you played in front of? What was it? Where was it? And how did it feel to you?
I guess the biggest audience was at the St. Gallen Festival, which is a huge open-air festival, about 30,000 people. But the most important gig, no doubt about it, was to play at the Jazz Festival in Montreux with Ping Pong. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it was simultaneously broadcasted on TV and on radio. And the festival just is one of the most important jazz festivals in the world.
And I asked that question because I'm not here to bag on the new music. I could all day long. I can actually dedicate a couple shows to how much shit music is out on the marketplace. 3 weeks ago, my wife and I were watching. We were living it up, and we were spending a Saturday night at home, and we caught ourselves watching the induction of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2017. And on this, and we're very, very proud here at Jackie's Groove and Intertalk, we have been blessed that interviewing 14 members of iconic groups that have been inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there's no record, there's no label, and there's no radio show out there doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and blow smoke up my own ass. And so welcome to this ever-growing roster. And I'm going to step back for a second. The reason why I wanted to interview Kurt Maloo is Kurt has been on our network before, and he was on a show called The Changing Stage with the CEO of our network, Florentino Buenaventura. And I enjoyed the interview so much, not because I'm a fan of his music, Kurt's, but I enjoyed his attitude, his spontaneity, and his overall outlook. That's why I said to Florentino, "Can I please interview Kurt?" So, Kurt, that's why I wanted you on the show, and I appreciate you accepting the invitation. And so going on with that, the situation of the industry and how it's changing, or maybe how it hasn't changed, and all the shit music that's out there. When we're going back to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, my wife and I are sitting there, we're on the sofa, and we're jamming like crazy because you've got a group called, we got Journey. Finally got into there.
I like that. Yeah.
And in fact,
when the lights go out.
Oh yeah. When we're done with this pre-tape, you and I, we're going to end a little bit early because I'm going on and I'm interviewing Arnel Pineda, the lead singer of Journey, after this our interview, and I want to talk more about the situation in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the reason why old farts like you and I are still relevant in this industry. And we'll talk more about that. And I want to get your input on that also. Again, not getting on a soapbox, talking about our music in yesteryear was much better than the music today. But the music of yesterday is still the prominent music of today. And we're going to pick up that up on segment number 3. I love when I'm talking to somebody my age because we can sit there and rant and rave and bitch and holler about how it was and what it will be and what it won't be anymore. So with that said, put your thinking cap on and go ahead and write some old notes down because even though the show has my name on it, Kurt, this is your episode, so this is all about you. And at the end of our show, we're going to talk about how we can stalk and how we can patronize Mr. Kurt Maloo and the like. So with that said, kids, don't go anywhere. Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by NuNote Radio Network. Stepping out of segment number 2, going into segment number 3 with my in-studio guest, legendary vocalist, Mr. Kurt Maloo of the Group Double. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Shelly Sondheim, President CEO of CSM Words and Music. You're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertoni.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
If you need someone to lean on or to show your new tattoo, come to me and take your clothes off, I'll be here for you. If your love is mean and selfish and you need a hug or two, you can call me day and night, it's alright, I'll be here for you.
Hey kids, welcome back to Jackie's Groove, and this is Jackie Bertoni, segment number 3, with my in-studio guest, Mr. Kurt Maloo. Hey, you know, the cool thing about being in this industry is that we get a chance not only to be musicians and to be, I don't want to say, you know, famous musicians, but, you know, we've done our duty, but it's to meet people like Mr. Kurt Maloo. Like that song right now, if it wasn't across the studio, I would have picked up my shakers and played along to that. That's my absolute kind of a groove. So, Kurt, with that said, Kurt, talk to me about that tune. Tell the audience what we just listened to.
You want to talk, about the tune you were playing before?
Yes.
Come Over Here. Yeah, it's one of the few ironic songs. I normally don't write ironic songs, but this one is with a tongue in the cheek. It's very sexy. It has a video that I did something that I would never have dreamed of I would do. I was casting a fully tattooed girl that was smoking all the time during the shooting. You can watch it on YouTube. It's very funny. It's something that I tried to... I was just playing with it, and I had a lot of fun.
Tell the listeners how to search that on YouTube. What song was it?
Come Over Here.
Come Over Here with Kurt Maloo, correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, young man, and I say that with tongue-in-cheek also. You know, the industry, how it's changed, and when we talked about the last segment about the music or the lack thereof, and watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions 2017, and groups like Journey, groups like Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam, and I put on Facebook, I got on a soapbox and I said, as my wife and I are sitting here right now on a Saturday evening watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions 2017, kids, understand the people on stage right now are as old as your parents, if not older, and there's a reason for it. Because, and I quote myself, there's real fucking musicians playing real fucking music and playing real fucking instruments. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why, Kurt, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, groups like Journey, groups like Styx, groups like REO Speedwagon are still selling out 19,000-seat venues. There's a reason for it, kids. I was just at a show with my boss, my good friend Michael McDonald, and in the audience was a gentleman by the name of Warren G., a great rapper in L.A., And Warren sampled a song from Michael McDonald called "I Keep Forgetting" on a song called "Regulator" from Warren G. In fact, Michael made more money on Warren's release than he did on his own. I keep forgetting. And so with that said, there's a reason why that we're out there. There's a reason why we stay relevant. What do you think is the most important thing, Kurt? Tell the listeners how you're staying relevant in this industry. What is it taking on your side to keep yourself in the forefront?
Well, there is no remedy. There is no, what I always, for myself, I found out that I can't do something else. I will follow my path. I will do my music, even if it's hip or not. Sometimes it was hip, sometimes not. Now it's hipper again because youngsters they find me on YouTube, whatever, and they say, "Hey,
right.
This is really cool," and we didn't know you, whatever. I didn't care, actually. If I'm really honest, I really never cared, and I think this is what it's all about. You don't have to care too much what people think.
Right. If you think you take yourself too seriously in life.
Absolutely.
Then it gets very stagnant. And during the heyday of Double and Captain and all the hits and so on, how did you? I'm going to backtrack on this. How did you keep it all together in the way of not being Kurt Maloo when you got home, or did your wife keep you nice and centered as my wife did too? You were just a hey you when you got home. You weren't Kurt Maloo. Was that hard to adjust itself? Or was it hard for you to not realize the fact that when you're out on the road, people are paid to have their noses up your rear end? You know what I'm going with this.
When you see me coming from the supermarket with two plastic bags, then I'm not Kurt Maloo the way you think Kurt Maloo is. Absolutely not. I don't even have a driver's license, I never had. So I'm a pedestrian, I'm just like, I'm a normal guy. But I'm aware that when I'm on stage, I'm not a normal guy anymore. And if I shoot a video, I'm Kurt Maloo, of course, because this is something. It's a big part of my personality, and it became an even bigger part of my personality, the so-called pop star, because I'm now in this business for more than 30 years, 40 years even. Oh God! But it's true. So. It is a big part of my life, and there are at least two personalities. Maybe there are like 3 or 4, whatever. Right. But it's easy to coordinate them because they're temporarily separated. When I'm at home, when I was with my little kids at home, laying on the floor, surrounded by toys, I wasn't even the musician. I was just dad. And I was dad. And when I went out and I played in Paris, Sacre Soirée, a show where 14 million people are watching, then I was fucking nervous, of course. But then I was Kurt Maloo. So this is a big difference. But I could handle it perfectly since ever.
Well, staying on that track here, let me ask you this question. So during the heyday of Double and Captain, was Captain a required song, or was there another song in your repertoire that the audience had to hear, or you were lynched if you didn't play it? What song was that, or was it Captain?
That's hard to tell after all these years, I mean, I was at the do-it-yourself market the other day buying some paint, and the Captain was playing on the radio. I didn't even notice, because then I just thought this is something familiar, right? And then I realized, that's me singing here between all these tools and stuff, right. And I didn't know. Is this something that I can be proud of, or is it just like, now it's even playing at the dentist, at the elevator, wherever. But on the other hand, I mean, the song is the same, it doesn't matter where you play it. it's just a sign that a lot of people have accepted the song, and through all the social media, I now learned that how many people love this song, and the lyrics are something that they say even it describes my life or whatever. I get so much feedback that I didn't get before, because I don't know if you know that, but Double never performed live. We were never on tour. No, because we were only two people. We never had a steady band. We were just the two of us. And Felix he had anxiety to go on stage, so I respected that. I was very sad about it, but I didn't have another chance. So we never had the immediate feedback from an audience when you play live, which is the biggest thing. Now I'm playing live, and I realize how much I missed that. And before I played live, of course, but with Double, no concerts.
And the thing I love about Captain, I was amazed when I went on iTunes and I saw how many different remixes, how many variations of radio mix, contemporary, a backdrop itself. Do you respect the fact that that other artists out there, meaning mixologists, if you will, that will take that song and put a backbeat to it? Do you respect that, or do you find that it's like putting a mini dress on a fat woman? Excuse me, for saying that as an analogy. It's a great idea, but the fact of the matter is, do you like it in its raw form, or do you welcome the different variations of that song?
It really depends on the woman that's wearing the dress.
There you go.
It's like, I was very proud when Randy Crawford covered the song, because I love her voice, and it's a great cover. But most of the covers there, they don't live up to the original, because it might sound a bit, I don't know, but the song really works with my voice. Perfect. Because the atmosphere loses something when you have when there is another voice. I don't know. I can't tell it in other words.
No, and that's a good analogy. And you said something a little while ago, the fact that you're in the hardware store and you're listening to Captain, you're listening to yourself during, going to the market, taking out plastic bags and so on. I mean, to this day, even though it's not my voice, but I've been blessed to work on so many top-selling hits that I could be. Not too long ago, last year, my wife and I were on our way to Las Vegas, stopped on a McDonald's to use the boys' room, and then one of the great songs called "Baby I Love Your Way" by the big reggae band called Big Mountain is playing. And before I used to sit there and stop and want to tell everybody, "Hey, that's me up there." But now I just kind of stop, do a half beat and smile, and that never gets old. To hear that kind of a situation where it still has quote unquote legs out there, people still want to listen to it. But at the same time, too, when we're talking about, the music industry or the lack thereof, does Kurt Maloo understand the music of today? And I don't want to sound like you're a grandpa, but do you understand the shit that's put out today? It's not all shit. It's not all shit. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff out there. It's not all shit.
It's not all shit. This is the main thing. No, there's great music out there. It's just the problem is there's so much out there now. There is no filter anymore, because everybody can do an album on his laptop, which is okay. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, you sort of need some kind of selection, and I had the opportunity that my son has a very good taste in music, and he showed me a lot of music when he was still living at home. Now he's living in Berlin. There was a moment when I was, this is a really key moment, when I heard Hotel California from his room. And I went in and I said, "That's not true. You're not listening to the Eagles." They say, "No, I'm not listening to the Eagles." I say, "Yeah, you're listening to Hotel California." He says, "No, this is not Hotel California. This is Frank Ocean." I said, "No, this is Hotel California." I said, "No, this is Frank Ocean." And then I realized there was a bootleg. This was before Frank Ocean had his first album. He had a bootleg. He used the playback of Hotel California, and he called it American Wedding, and with complete different lyrics. but the playback was Hotel California. He just nicked it. And that was so great to hear. And he didn't know what I was talking about when I said Hotel California. And he said, no, that's Frank Ocean. He's cool. Hey, he's cool. He has a bootleg out. It's only on YouTube. And so that is so cool that 2 generations were like, we agreed that this was fucking great. He came from a complete other side, and me too. But we agreed this is great. And
I laugh with you on that because I don't know, probably about 10 years ago, about 12 years ago, my sister calls me and she says, "Hey, Styx is going to be at the O Arena in Orlando, Florida. Can you hook your sister up?" And of course, that's the first thing I'd love to do is take care of family and friends. So I got her, her laminates. I got her credentials. VIP, all access. And they're standing in line, and this one gentleman looks over. It's my sister, my brother-in-law, and my niece, Ashley, who was probably about 15 years old, wasn't so happy that she was being drug along to go see Styx. So there's a gentleman that looked at standing next to her, and he goes, "Are you upset that Britney Spears isn't here tonight?" And she kind of made it like a little typical girl thing, like whatever. And so my sister, they're like the first 3 rows. Styx is up there kicking ass in front of 19,000 people. And my sister looks over to her right, and Ashley is singing word for word on Renegade, word for word on Blue Collar Man. And my sister looks over and she goes, "Excuse me?" She goes, "Mom, what do you think? I grew up with this music." And that's the cool thing about it now, Kurt, is when you're at these shows, Earth, Wind, and Fire, all these other groups that are out there, Chicago, my dear friend, celebrating 50 years. My group that I started out with, Tower of Power, is going on 50 years next year. The thing is, we are now looking in the audience now, and we're seeing 3 generations, people our age, our children, and the children's children, which is such a cool situation. Because I'm sorry, man, but if you don't have music in you,
my son is trying to convince me right now that George Benson is really great, and I say, "Hey, cool down. I know. I know.
Yeah, I've lived it. But that's a cool situation where
that's so funny.
When the kids look at my niece going back to Ashley had said something about, "Oh, I really like this song. It's a new song." I said, "Honey, that song was out 40 years ago." "No, it wasn't." I said, so I played her the song, and she goes, "Oh, I didn't know that." I said, "Of course you didn't know that." So I tell a lot of young kids out there, people that I mentor, don't just get hooked up and try to stay current. You got to, to have a end result, you got to know where it all started. And that's the situation where our generation today, there's very, very few young people that are audiophiles that they can sit there and scan the whole globe when it comes to music. And I want to pick that up again too. Kurt, I'm looking at my clock again. This is blowing by. We're having a great time, and we still haven't really even scratched the surface of what's in store for Kurt Maloo and the Maloo music empire. We'll say it that way. And we're going to educate. We're going to educate the masses. We're going to take a little bit of a break here, and we come back on segment number 3. We're done with the first hour. We're going to pick up one more hour, and keep those messages coming in, kids. We'll get back to them as quick as we can. Again, too, I'm proud and privileged. As I said, it's pretty cool being in this industry because not only am I a notable musician, but I still get a chance to hang out with people that I'm fans of. And this person I'm talking to on the line right now, Mr. Kurt Maloo, I am one of your biggest fans, and thank you for writing. Captain, I don't mean to keep doing that, but I'm gonna beat that dead horse if I can. So with that said, you guys don't go anywhere. We're gonna come back on segment number 4 out of total 6 seconds with my in-studio guest, the infamous and legendary vocalist from Double, Mr. Kurt Maloo, Jackie Bertoni. Jackie's Group, brought to you by NuNote Radio Network. You're into all things music. Kids, don't go anywhere. We're gonna be back on segment number 4. Stay tuned.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Al Di Meola, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertoni.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
It's autumn in my heart again. Hell in my soul. I'm looking for a place to go where all my devils won't have a ball.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Jackie Bertoni. Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. Mr. Kurt Maloo is in the studio with Jackie Bertoni today. Hey, Kurt, I'm going to tell you right now, brother, next time you write a song like that we just heard coming on the top of the set, and you use program percussion, lose my number, brother, because next time you write a song like that, I'm going to invite myself to play on that tune with you. Because that song, cool. I definitely love that vibe. Talk to me about that song, man. What was the genesis of that groove?
Well, the song actually the one you hear is a version that is a remake. The original is with Herb Albert. Mm-hmm. The trumpet is Herb Albert too on the remake, but the voice is new. I sang it again because it was the time my partner Felix died in 2004 on a heart attack, very unexpectedly. It was horrible, and I was preparing a new album for myself, a solo album. But when he died, I thought the songs we were written in the 90s that were unreleased when we tried to reunite as double, they can't be lost. We have to do something about them. So I asked a producer, a friend of mine, to make an album out of the songs that we had from the 90s, from Felix and I, and also do some remakes of old double material, just a selection. And of course, Devil's Ball with Herb Albert was a favorite that he wanted to remix. And and I was very glad with the outcome. I was very glad with the result of especially of Devil's Ball, because he has a very fresh groove. It's called New Jazz, The guy who made this remake is Pip Baumgartner from D-Fast. D-Fast was like in the 90s a band that was founding the format of new jazz. And very cool groove. I like it. I had to sing it again because I wasn't sure with my vocals when he used the original ones. But the trumpet is Herb Albert. It's the original.
I'm loving it, man. I love that groove altogether. I'm gonna definitely
me too.
Put some phones in to hear the whole thing later on when we get off the air. Hey, you know what? My wife came up with a great question last year. Because the bottom line is I don't care that, who we are, who we think we are, and what we do for a living. But we all like one thing, and I'll quote Mr. Rodney Dangerfield, the great comedian that we've lost years ago. He always said, you know what? Sex gets old, but we're always going to stay hungry. And so with that situation too, music never gets old, but the fact is we always stay hungry. And you coming from the land of food, Paris, and so on, what does Kurt Maloo love to put in his tummy? What is your favorite food, and where is your favorite place to eat worldwide? You want to share that with us?
Italian food.
God bless your heart, brother. God bless your heart.
Yeah, no, of course, because it's like with everything. I like it pure. I like it modest, but high quality. The ingredients have to be high quality. But it doesn't have to be too complicated. It's like with the music I do. It doesn't have to be complicated. It has to be clear. It has to be pure. But the ingredients have to be of high quality. And that's with everything, with women, with sex, with food, with with the way I furnish my home. It's with everything like that.
Is there being in Hamburg, forgive me for being naive, but is there any legitimate Italian restaurants in that city?
Sorry, I lost you.
I said, being from Hamburg. Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, are there legitimate Italian restaurants or Italian food in Hamburg?
Oh yeah, the Italians are everywhere. That's the good thing about them, So some of them are better abroad than at home. But there are. I mean, you just have to find your favorite place, and when you get it, then stick to it. And of course, I cook myself because I love to eat. So sometimes it's just easier to prepare your own food, and then you know what you put in it. So.
Of course. Hey, and let me ask you this question, Kurt. With that said, in all the years you've been in this industry itself, everybody's had nightmares, everybody's had horror stories, but it's kind of flipping the script itself. Can you think, or can you even talk about it? Was there anything that comes to your mind over the tours that you've been on that was some stuff that you want to share with the listening audience that really makes you laugh to this day? Something crazy that happened? You want to share about that?
Oh yeah, the most crazy. I mean, there are a lot of crazy moments.
I'm sure
when you tour, of course. But I mean, promotion tours we had. But one thing was when we were in LA, and our record company said, today there's a day full of smog. Let's get out in the bay. You are our guests. You're here for promotion. We want to pamper you. We rent a big yacht, and we go out there. There was a crew, 6 people, really huge thing, and we went out there. Then we were cruising to Malibu, and we were with A&M, the record company of Herb Albert and Jerry Moss, his manager. Right. And Jerry had a villa right in the front row in Malibu Beach, which was amazing. And because we had the album Blue, that was a hit, he sort of had a blue fabric hanging out his balcony to show his respect. And so an assistant, he jumped in the water and he swam to the shore, and he came back with a bottle of vodka and said, Jerry says hello. And we thought, oh yeah, that's great. I love this. And then we took off again and went back to Marina del Rey, and it was just a great day. And 6 months later, we had all the costs of this cruise on our bill.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. And so far for being our guests, and this was so cool. But
that's some balls, man. That's some balls.
It's a good story. At least it's a good story.
And Kurt, share with us also too when we're on this vibe, and don't be humble on this, but share with the audience, share with myself, what is the coolest? And let me rephrase the word coolest. Let's talk about some awards and achievements that you've earned over your career itself. What are you most proud of?
My children, no doubt about it.
That's a beautiful thing, man, because I love that, because I ask a lot of artists, I'll say, where's your favorite place to travel? And I got to tell you, 99.9%, they answer by their request, or their answer back to me is home. It's not like the Judy Garland and the Dorothy and click your heels together and say there's no place like home, but there is no place like home. A lot of artists, my dear friend of mine, Herman Matthews, is messaged me a couple days ago. He was on his way to Tokyo to play 6 nights at the Blue Note with Tower of Power, and he says, "Hey man, I'm going to get a chance to catch up on your interviews." I just had one with him a couple weeks ago. Great drummer with Tower of Power and Kenny Loggins and the like. And he said, "I got about 11.5-hour flight, so I'll be able to listen to your interviews. Plus, I get a chance to be able to sleep." And I say that just because a lot of artists I talk about, what do they prefer doing, or being at home or being on the road? And it's funny, the dichotomy of the whole thing is a lot of people like to be on the road because there's actually less to do than if you were at home having to clean up the dog poop and make sure everything is picked up and so on. And do you find yourself, I mean, obviously missing, your beautiful wife and so on, but do you find, other than the work, traveling a little bit relaxing to you, or do you prefer not to?
I love traveling, but I don't like touring. I don't like being away for too long, but I love traveling. The short trips this is my thing. Just go for a TV show to Paris or London or Rome. That's what I love.
And staying with that tune itself, think about it for a second. Who's the coolest artist or the most famous artist that Kurt Maloo's actually ran into or met or hung out with?
Unfortunately, I never met Miles Davis, but I think he's the coolest artist. At least his music. I don't know if the guy was so pleasant, but his music is just the coolest thing ever happened on this planet. And I
asked that question. It's funny that you say that, because I'm going to be talking currently to a great percussionist by the name of Munyongo Jackson. Munyongo's been on everybody's albums itself, has been a friend of mine, and he's currently on the road right now with Miles Davis Electric Band. Miles's band is still touring, and they're touring all over the world. And so he said, "I would love to have you interview the band." I was a huge Miles Davis fan. Miles used to scare me. I have a lot of my friends that played with Miles, and when Miles, would forget the fact that there was an audience in front of him when he used to play with his back to the audience. I always thought the fact of the matter is he was keeping an eyeball on his group, but I was educated by the fact is no, because even though he had his back to the audience, but the stage when he's looking, when the musicians are looking at Miles, he had his eyes closed, and he did that because that was a way for him to engulf himself into the music, the vibe, that he wasn't being rude to the audience.
He was really into his music. But I love the story that when he had the quartet, in the 60s, with John Coltrane, and John Coltrane was like the upcoming superstar on saxophone, and he had trouble to keep his solo within 16 bars or 32 bars, whatever. And after the gig, he told Miles, I just have really trouble to find an end. And Miles said, "Just put the horn out of your mouth."
Wow,
that's
really
good.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. It's as simple as that. If you have 30 32 bars and you don't know how to end, just end. Just end. I mean, that was Miles' music. It was like either you can control what you're doing within a certain frame, or you're not. It's not the right place for you, you know. And then, of course, the later John Coltrane. Then he had a whole album with one solo there, but I think he didn't find an end then. Anyway, right. But I'm a big Miles Davis fan, really big Miles Davis fan.
Hey, Kurt, let me ask you this question. I think it's a very, 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 very deep question. But if music wasn't in your life, if you weren't doing what you're doing 30, 40 years ago to this very day, what would Kurt Maloo be doing?
You mean besides music?
Forget music. Music's out of your life. What would you be doing instead?
That's a tricky question, because before I was really dedicating my life to music, I was a painter. I tried to be a painter. I'm not really a painter, but right. I thought I was an artist. I was very young, and then but I'm not sure if
it's a tough question, man, because it really
it's a tough question. Yeah. You know, the second, or maybe the first thing in my life that I'm really interested in are women. So I would do something with women.
Expand.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
What would that be?
This is my biggest devotion is to experience women.
Always. How long have you been married? I'm married. Yeah.
Of course,
how long?
I'm married. I've been married for over 30 years. So I mean,
good for you.
And I'm a musician. I'm an artist. You know, it's complicated. But anyway, women are like the center of my life. Always were.
Amen.
And,
my brother.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm going on 34 years. 34 years to my bride, Caprice. We're going this coming November. And the fact of the matter is, like my mama taught me growing up, you know, women are the most beautiful thing God ever put on this planet. So you treat them like princesses, you know. And you know, and if you find a man that loves his mother, you're going to find a man that loves women. Period. So that's the and that's the gospel on that itself. You know, especially if you have a wife especially if you have a wife or your significant other that has an open mind, can let you.
I love my mother. I love my mother very much, and therefore I love all the women. You know,
absolutely.
Somehow, yeah.
Hey, let me switch this for a second, since we're kind of in a deep, not deep situation. You've accomplished amazing things in your lifetime, and you will continue to accomplish amazing things in your lifetime. But talk to me about your bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
What's on your bucket list?
Well, I'm pretty relaxed about that. I don't have to the pressure of like that I have to do something. I mean, most important for me is to be able to continue what I'm doing. You know, I'm in an age now that I'm aware that it is a gift, that I'm healthy, that I have good friends, that I have women that love me, that I have children that are healthy and successful and happy, all the things like that. I appreciate that so much, and there is less and less of pressure that I missed something, that I have to sort of catch up on something. Therefore,
Kurt, I'm going to stop you right now. I'm sorry, there's that bumper music, brother. I'm enjoying this conversation so much I forget to look up at the screen. So we'll pick that up at this next segment, guys. We're coming out of segment 4 and number segment 5 with my in-studio guest, Kurt Maloo. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you Entertainment Talk Network. You're into all things music. Guys, don't go anywhere.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Another serious groove by my in-studio guest, Mr. Kurt Maloo. Hey guys, this is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. Hey guys, before we go on, I'm going to make a little bit of business here, if I may do so. Kurt, forgive me for a couple seconds. I want to say hi to all of our sponsors out there, the ones that are responsible for keeping this crazy ship afloat. First and foremost, our dear friends of ours over at Pitbull Audio, at pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. And also to our dear friends over at Sabian Cymbals, my cymbal company of choice for 22 years, Sabian.com. Someone I'm sure Kurt is familiar with, as I am also. SIR, Studio Instrument Rentals. You can reach them at sir-usa.com for all of your backline and your rehearsal studio needs. My drum stick company for 23 years, Vater Percussion, VATER.com. Thank you guys for keeping good wood in my hands. And through DW Drums, one of our new sponsors coming up, DWDrums.com, Drum Workshop Incorporated, to John Good and Don Lombardi. Thank you guys for your belief and your support. And the company I'm most biased to, owned by DW Drums, which is now called LP Music. 27 years they've sponsored me all these years. Thank you guys. And that goes out to a special shout out to Jerry Zacharias and Derek Zimmerman, and also Terry Telepia. Thank you guys so much for your belief. So with that part of business is out of the way, let's bring back my guest, Mr. Kurt Maloo. Hey, Kurt, let me ask you a question. And this is a difficult question, but I have to ask you as a musician because we're musicians. But I want to find out what your vibe is itself. I'm going to ask you a question regarding each instrument. You're only going to have one response. I know this is going to be difficult, and don't get pissed at me for this, but I want to know who you like. And let's start out with drummers worldwide. Who's your favorite drummer?
Jackie DeJohnette. Okay, good. Very much along the jazz genre itself. Smooth player, definitely a good swing player. Guitarist. Jimi Hendrix.
Okay. Keyboards. And that's a slash. Keyboards, piano.
Thelonious Monk.
Okay, perfect. Bass.
Bass.
I know. Especially
That's
with all the silent music.
That's a tricky one.
We'll come back to that. How about sax?
Sax is Ornette Coleman.
Very cool. So you're definitely staying in that genre of jazz. And last but not least, I'm always curious, how about percussion?
Tume.
Excellent. Wow, you reach deep back there, brother. I mean, based upon all the funk that I'm hearing from you and the groove, you're definitely falling back into that realm of jazz.
The bass player is now, it's Bootsy Collins. It's Bootsy Collins, especially when he played, back then when he played with James Brown. It's Bootsy Collins, bass player.
Absolutely. And let me ask you this question to go back into the next situation here. As we get older, the things that we take for granted today, as we didn't do 30 years ago when we were young bucks, is there something that you do now more now than ever than you did 30 years ago to get ready for a gig?
Well, I'm still nervous. I hate these short gigs like live TV performances. They're mostly in Europe. They're mostly half playback, so you are singing live, but the band is on tape. So you are like, you are the only guy that is really working. The others are miming, and they're very relaxed. They sit there and they do like they play, but they don't. And you are like the guy in front, and you have to sing. And there are like 10 millions, 14 millions watching. Right. This is a very stressy thing, and I never lost the to be nervous before I go on stage. The stage fear is still there, but it has become better because I have my little rituals. I sort of walk around and go there last minute, and it's okay. And the biggest net that will catch me is my songs, because I know my songs and I like my songs. I'm not ashamed of my songs, so I can play them, especially the Captain of a Heart. I can play this song 30 years later, and I'm not embarrassed. So that's a good thing. That's not normal. That's not something that everybody can say.
Absolutely. And speaking of which itself, is there any preparation for your throat that before you go on stage or before you go in the studio that is that's applicable to out there for all the young vocalists out there listening right now?
No, because I'm a microphone singer. I don't have a strong voice. I have a very intimate voice, so the main thing is not to stress it. I try to avoid talking too much before, especially when there are a lot of people around, because then you have to sort of talk louder, and then you get husky, and that's not good for the voice. So I try to be by myself before the gig, and then sing the song very quietly to myself, mostly with my guitar. Then, because when I play my songs on the guitar and I sing along, I'm very close to myself. I'm with me, and this gives me a very comfortable feeling. It's comforting me, and it's calming me down, and then I go on stage, and I try to take this feeling on stage that I have before in the dressing room.
And speaking of dressing room and so on, artists have different kind of a vibes itself about meet and greets and so on and so forth. Does Kurt welcome guests before the show? Now, forget the family, the wife, the kids, and close friends, but do you prefer to meet people after the show?
After the show. Everything after the show. No alcohol before the show, because it's not good. You sort of, if you have a lot of lyrics, you mess it up, and that's not good. But after the show, it's party. It's party.
I want you to be honest with me right now. I mean, I can attest to my dear friends of mine, Michael McDonald, and all the other great vocalists out there. How many times, if any, has Kurt absolutely blanked on words of his own music?
Where's the wood? Here, I have a wooden floor. Knock, knock, knock.
Right.
I can count it on one hand. It wasn't, and it was in a concert. It always was in a concert so far that was like 1 hour and a half or so. You know, you can sort of play it. You can make a joke about it. The problem is if you have one song on TV and you have a blank, that this is really, really, no one deserves that. And so far, it's spared me out.
That's, that is so perfect because, again, things, it's what we do and what we don't take for granted back then. I mean, I can tell you the times that I'd be going up doing, a total of 4 hours of music a night and then not going to bed till 5 a.m, sleeping into 3 o'clock in the afternoon and thinking, shit, I wasted my whole day. Now, as we get older, I can go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'll still be up at 7, and that's a situation where, we learn to adhere. I mean, it's a man's body, man. After 50 years old, things change radically, and it's up to us to keep ourselves going and keep ourselves in the best shape that we possibly can, musically and
Absolutely, yeah.
We
used to mix all night long, which is totally stupid, and also with drugs and all. And then in the morning, you're listening. In the morning, or like in the afternoon when you get up, you're listening to the mix, and it sounds like shit. But this is normal. I mean, what did we think? You can't work all night on a mix. That's not possible because no one listens unless you are doing club mixes. No one listens to a mix at night.
Right.
No, it's daytime, and you should do it in. You should listen to your result at daytime, and then decide if it's worth it or not. And yeah, that's what I've learned. I never work all night long. I just, after dinner, I maybe listen to it 2 or 3 times and then make some corrections and then call it a day. I never, after dinner, the day is private.
Now, and with that said also too, we touched on the preparation, we touched on keep what's going and so on. Let's go back to you for a second in your career. And I want you to think about something. I love asking this question because I love the responses. But I want you to think for a quick second here. I want you to remember back the very first time that you heard yourself on the radio. Where were you? What were you thinking? What were you doing when you heard that? And tell me what you felt. Was it adulation? Was it nervousness?
I don't remember when I heard myself the first time on the radio, but I will never forget when I was laying at the swimming pool at Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood together with my partner Felix, and he bought a little FM portable player, and we were listening to Kiss FM, and the captain was on, overcompromised, like the snare was like huge, and and the sun was getting down, and he passed me the headphones and he said, "Listen to that," and I was listening to my own song, and it sounded so much better than I had it in my mind. It was just great. This was the greatest moment maybe in my life musically, listening to the Captain of Our Heart at the swimming pool with Hopper's mosaics on the ground in Hollywood. That was there. I knew, I made it.
And it never ever gets old. I always tell people it never gets old to hear yourself. Again, our reactions are different, but it's the cool thing about what we do. And also too, I want your opinion for being a veteran in this industry, and be honest with the situation. Kurt, what do you feel about the state of the music business right now, where it's at? Are you optimistic or pessimistic?
I'm optimistic that there will never it will never stop, that people will make good music because it comes from the inside,
right?
And people will always be creative. And the good thing is it has been so much easier to be creative now. It's so much more democratic that everybody can do good music on his laptop with a few apps. But the problem is that the major companies, they fucked it all up. You know, they never found a model when it was time to find a model. Right. That there is enough revenue for everybody. They were so greedy, and now,
that's not going to change. You know that as well as I do.
It won't. No, it won't change.
You know, I don't know how it is right now in your neck of the woods, but we talk about this to all of the guys out here in the United States. It was something that we greatly miss. In fact, I interviewed Julia Fordham.
Sorry.
Yeah, I interviewed
Jackie,
Julia.
Are you back?
Are you there? Am I back? Test 1 2. Are you there, my brother?
Yeah. Now I'm too. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. So I was saying 3 weeks ago, I interviewed Julia Fordham, and we talked about the industry and how it's changed. And out here in California, out here in the United States, I miss drastically these things called record stores, Tower Records, Amoeba Music, Music Plus,
of course.
And that record release Tuesday where you were able to go to the stores, look at these new artist releases and so on and so forth, and be thrilled of who's out there, even be thrilled that you're on albums that are being released. How are things in Europe? Do you guys still have record stores out there?
No. It's a shame. I mean, there are some vinyl stores still. But, I grew up, when we went after school, we went to the record store that had some booths. You could take maximum 3 albums in there, vinyl player, put it on with headphones, and you could listen to the album from A to Z. And decide if you want to buy it or not. Of course, we didn't buy it because we didn't have the money. But anyway, you were a fan. You could listen to the album that was topic. And now, there is nothing that you can take in your hands. You can turn it around. You can take off the sleeve, read the lyrics. It's not hardware anymore, and this is a lack of value, and that's the big problem of it, because a stream is not an album that you hold in your hands.
And I tell the young listeners out there too, this is a great thing. In fact, a lot of the artists now, record labels that are selling things on Amazon and CD Baby and iTunes, you can actually get a digital download of a thing called liner notes, and nothing more beautiful than to sit there and read where it was recorded, who's on the recording, who mastered it, who engineered, and so on. And hopefully, like David Grohl said, he'd like to believe the fact that in the next 5 years we will have record stores again. And fingers crossed, and again, that quintessential knock wood. Let's see, man. We've got to get it back. We've got to get back. Everything old has got to be new again. And I think it's going to be up to people's voices out here.
And the musicians, the featured musicians. I mean, no one knows who is playing on a record anymore.
Right. I know. And what I don't know, and what I don't know is how this interview is moving about so quickly, man. We're at 21 seconds of the last segment, maybe before the last, I should say, and segment number 6 coming up with my in-studio guest.
We're in a time machine.
Yes, baby boy. So what we're going to do when we get back, it's going to be a shorter segment, but we got to get to the bottom line and everything it's got to do with your music and how to stalk you. So with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Kurt Maloo. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by NuNote Radio Network. You're into all things music. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to reel it in on this last one. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Shelly Sondheim, President and CEO of CSM Words and Music. You're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertoni.
Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
North is where I'm headed, city of rain. Drinking your devotion, causing sweet pain. Eyes like amber down by the shore, touching me deep down in my core. Now I'm caught between summer and merciless cold. Eyes like amber engraved in my soul. There's no season for passion, no reason to wait. No season for love that's never too late. Dancing, dancing, my heart wide open.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the last segment number 6 of a 2-hour interview with this great guy, my new friend, Mr. Kurt Maloo. You guys, you know what? We're going to wrap this up, man. We're going to take a little bit shorter segment here to get ready for our next. In fact, Kurt, you know, I'm going to kind of put the cart in front of the horse here. I just got a message from our CEO because I've got Arnel Pineda coming up from Journey, and I just got a message from Arnel. He says, "Man," he goes, "my voice is dead." He goes, "I'm in Las Vegas right now. Journey's doing a residency at the Hard Rock." And he goes, "This damn weather out here is so dry. You know this as a singer." And he goes, "It's not my not that I'm trying to save my voice." He goes, "I'm not trying to save my voice, Jack." He goes, "I'm in just utter pain." So I'm going to have to explain to the audience out there who's been waiting for this interview that we're going to welcome him back. So you as a vocalist knows exactly what this man is doing, especially singing those Journey songs at top volume. It's got to tear your vocal cords apart. So with that said, you know what I want to do, my friend? I want to introduce you to your friend, my boss, my CEO, who's responsible for Jackie and Kurt getting together. His name is Florentino Buenaventura. And Florentino, if you're there, would you please say hi to Mr. Maloo for me, please?
What's going on, Kurt? How you doing, brother?
Hi, Florentino. We already met.
Yes, we have met a number of times. We've actually had spent some good quality time on. So, hey, man, I've been enjoying the interview. You know, it's funny, as I listen to your interviews and the one we did, there's always so much more I learn about you, brother. Just it's amazing.
Hello?
Man. Yeah. Can you hear me, Jackie?
I can hear you.
Kurt, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can't hear anything else but you.
Okay.
Okay.
That is interesting. I'm on air, but I guess.
So the connection.
Are we there now?
I'm hearing you. Kurt, are you hearing us?
Yeah, so you should hear me now,
All
Kurt.
right.
Can you hear me now, Kurt? Hello?
Hi?
What's going on?
There we go.
Hey, Florentino.
Can you hear me?
You?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Paul's having a senior moment here. he's having one of my moments. Usually that's me on if I ever have to get on the board, I don't know what the heck I'm doing anymore, man. But I've been enjoying the show. It's been a good show, and it's always a pleasure to have you on the network because just your wealth of experience.
The pleasure is on my side. I really enjoy it.
That's good, and I'm glad you and Jackie were able to connect up, and for all the fans to hear, hear your, all the other types of music that you've been doing, because here in the States we don't always get all the cool stuff that the folks in Europe have obviously try to make it available to everybody, but especially with radio nowadays, it's not even the top 40 anymore. It's like the top 10. You get like the top 10 and all the stations try to just leverage that. So it's not quite the same. So that's our goal. That's always been what we focused in on, is we wanted to share with people all the cool things that they may not be able to get elsewhere, whether it be conversations, be in the backstage green room or behind the velvet.
Yeah, it's a great concept.
Yeah, so this has been really good, and part of that is to discover more about these amazing artists that we have, and you being one of the most amazing, sir. Tell us how can people find you? What are your Facebooks, your Twitters, your website?
Oh, I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, on Twitter. It's just Kurt Maloo. You will find me everywhere.
Yeah. In fact, one of my favorite places to find you is on YouTube, because you just got great videos, man. And I'm much like Jackie. I think we talked about this in the interview where that song just it just resonates. It's a classic. It really is a timeless classic. Your performance of it, everything. It just it transcends time. That's what a classic means. But not just the actual song, but the production. You can listen to that production today, and it still speaks relevancy. So
yeah, fortunately, it's timeless.
Yeah,
that was
So that's a nice thing to have. Not too many people can lay that claim. So. But it's been a good one. So I'm going to have Jackie take it back over. We're just trying to get a few other things prepared for this next interview. But man, we'll have to catch up offline, man, and talk a little bit about how we can help with what's going on in your world. Because we definitely, when you've been on the radio show, you're now part of the family, brother. You are part of Intertalk.
Great.
Perfect.
All right, take it away, Jackie.
All right, brother, go do your job. Get Arnell, get lined up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish up with Mr. Maloo here, because I want to talk about his endorsements and give his shout outs to the people that backline his career.
It's great to talk to you, Florentino.
Always, brother. You take care, man.
Okay, Kurt, in the last few minutes here, I want to just kind of give a shout out, let you give a shout out to the people, if any, who are endorsing Mr. Maloo's career itself, piano-wise, guitar-wise. Do you want to reach out to everybody and say thank you to that?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Go ahead. With relation to,
I didn't get your question.
Well, the question, your sponsors, anybody who's sponsoring you for keyboards, sponsoring you for guitar, sponsoring you for microphones, who's responsible for that, or if there's any at all?
Oh, no, not at all. I have my old microphone. It's a Bayer. I had to buy it, and I own it. I've been owning it for 30 years. I was trying out a new microphone when we recorded Blue, the album, and we tried out some different microphones in the studio, and by chance. We came across this microphone that was actually for toms, for to pick up toms for drummers, and it suited my voice. And since then, I sing through a Bayer dynamic microphone. No, it's a condenser microphone. Really? Really strange microphone. It's a little tube, little black tube that they use to pick up drums.
I know it well.
That's
mean, if it's working for you, that's all that matters. And I want the listeners out there to please patronize Kurt. I want you to go to www.courtmaloo.com for everything about Kurt. And Kurt, do you have any plans coming out to the U.S. or better yet, coming out to Southern California anytime soon?
I still wait to be invited by a concert promoter, but it hasn't happened yet. So it's
when that comes around,
it's a big deal. It's a big deal to come, to bring everything over, the musicians and all from Europe. But I would love to play there. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to extend the olive branch because we have a lot of great connections out here in Southern California, a lot of great venues. And Florentino and you will talk offline itself because we'd love to be able to do that and see how inexpensive we can get you out here and how much money we can make or you can make out here when you're doing it itself. And if you would allow Jackie's Groove and Intertalk Radio to help promote, as we do with Al Di Meola and as we do with Chicago and so on and so forth, please let our worldwide exposure help our brothers in music and sisters in music, with that said. And but you know what? I'm having a great time, man. I'm looking over a plethora of stuff. There's another 2 hours of an interview we could go, but unfortunately we don't have the time. And I want to thank you immensely for gracing my show, my friend. If you go to jackiesgroove.com and scroll down to the episodes on demand, you're now part of this ongoing ensemble of the who's who in the industry.
Wonderful. I will post it on my Facebook account and everything.
By all means.
It was great pleasure.
And as soon as we find a date for Florentino and Paul, I'll notify you, and when we'll start marketing. In fact, I just sent you a Facebook friend request so I can take you and all these things. And also, too, as soon as the show is archived, Paul will notify me, and I will get that link out to you ASAP.
Do that.
I'll ask that you don't post it until we know we have an actual show date.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And we'll give you the thumbs up on that, and so on. So, and let me ask you this question, and Kurt, I'm curious, just because of your huge different of your vibe of genres of music we've talked about and you've shared with us. But if I was to hijack your music library right now, if I was to jump in the car that you don't have a license to drive with, what would I be hearing in your music collection? What is Kurt listening to today, this very day?
I listen to a lot of music. I listen to I still listen to Sade because I really love her.
Yes.
I also listen to Drake. I listen to classical music. I listen to a lot of jazz. I listen to all kinds of music. I mean, I have a playlist that has no concept. It's if the song hits me, if it touches me, it's good. If not, I skip it. So it's like that. And I love like that.
Right, I love that because I always ask, especially I ask vocalists, and because I'm a big fan of this gentleman coming up. What does Kurt Maloo think of one of my favorite singers, a gentleman by the name of Bruno Mars? Do you get what he does and how well he does it?
And I never really was. I mean, he didn't get to me because my children don't listen to that. So it's a generation gap. It's sort of never came across.
Check him out, man.
But Frank Ocean, for instance, is something from the later artists that really. That I through my children, of course.
What's amazing is Eddie Vedder said during the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he's taught his children, his girls, everything that he knows to date, but he is more excited of the fact of what his girls are teaching him.
I can agree. 100%.
Yeah, because the bottom line is, there's a certain thing in time in life when quote unquote school's out that we should have got and garnered the natural things that we should have learned at this age. But again, we constantly are learning. Again, I'm constantly trying to wrap my head around the industry and where it's going and where, if it's going anywhere. All I know is that it's changing daily. And what we can do as artists with longevity like you and myself and the other guests that I have on Jackie's Groove it's going to be up to us, man, and let our voices go out there, because we do have a lot of advocates out in the marketplace. I'm going to reiterate again, too. Everybody stop stealing our music. Don't do it. That's a crime in itself, man. And there's nothing wrong with going on and spending $9.99 or $11.99 on iTunes. If you're going to enjoy the music, pay for the damn music. And yes. For the fact is, I think
otherwise
personally,
we will get after you. We have the connections.
Bottom line, we'll have the music mafia come down on you itself.
Right.
And but
we have our
and that's exactly I'm excited for everything coming up in your career, man. I overdosed on YouTube with your music and the videos and so on. It's funny. I'm going to say this, and I mean this as a compliment, I guess. Your voice does not fit your face. And I mean that the fact is, if you don't know who Kurt Maloo is, he's got a different vibe altogether, man. He's got this. He still is current looking, man. And I dig that. You're taking care of yourself. Your voice is beautiful. Again, I'm a fan. Our listeners worldwide are really, really excited for it, and I can't wait to promote the situation and to get this on the marketplace. I thoroughly enjoyed today's interview, or in this case, this evening's interview with you, my friend.
That's great to hear.
I can't thank you enough. If you would be so kind, I'm going to send you an email. It'll be coming from Jackie at jackiesgroove.com. If you'd be so kind to share with me your mailing address and respond to that, I want to send you something personally. So with that said, everybody else, thank you so much for being part of Jackie's Groove, Kurt Maloo. Thank you for your music.
Thank you for having
your
me
heart
on your show.
And thank you for
great pleasure.
Thank you for being part of it, man. Thank you for being honest. So with that said, guys, everybody say goodbye to Kurt Maloo. Kurt, thank you so much, my friend. This is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Jackie's Groove and InterTalk Radio Network. If you're into all things music. So as I always end all my shows saying, peace through music. With that, Kurt, thank you, my friend. Godspeed and best of health to you and your family.
Bye.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on InterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.